Hey, you're listening to the Coffee O'Clock podcast, the show that brings you joy and inspiration, with special guests from all around the world who have an amazing story and expertise to evolve your personal and professional life. I am your host, Burcu, ONARANEL, the founder of Joy Marketing and Coaching. Make sure you grab your coffee and get ready to explore new ideas. Let's get started. Hello, Coffee O'Clock people. Cheers. I have my guest, but he has a water, but that's okay. Let's cheers, my guest, Philip.
Cheers.
My guest is from Dubai today, Philip Wride. He is an entrepreneur, author, and a coach. Attention to female coaches, female entrepreneurs, because he is solving one of our biggest problem, which is a tech headaches that we all have. If you're running an online business, you must listen to this episode. And we are going to talk about freedom and his journey. That is the most important thing in our episode, as you know. I don't want my guest to wait more. I want to welcome him. Welcome, Philip. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here and join the Coffee O'Clock. I know I've got the water, but that's largely because of the part of the world I'm in. It's a little bit warm. I should have maybe done a iced one instead and brought that, but never mind. Next time.
Next time, yes. And yeah, it's already winter in Hungary. And to me, I don't know why, but in my culture, I'm from originally Turkey. So Turkish people, they drink hot tea, even if it's 40, 50 degrees outside. They believe that it helps them. And it's actually statistics. It helps the body to decrease the pressure. It's interesting, but maybe that's why I drink hot coffee all the time, summer and winter. Philip, I introduced you a little bit, and I would love for you to share who you are. And that shirt catches my eye. If you can explain that, how are you doing what you're doing today, and how is your journey? If you can start, we can have a flow.
Absolutely. So I've been an entrepreneur since the age of 16.
Wow.
And so freedom has always been my highest level value. It's the thing that I have been looking for, achieving in some senses, looking for a different level in others, and periods through my life, because I've always wanted that freedom of being able to say, oh, this is interesting, let's go and explore, having a variety, having the flexibility of how I use my time and what I get involved in. So it's always been a core thing for me. Even when I've been offered jobs, I weigh it up and go, is that right? Is it going to enable me to potentially keep doing some of the things that I want to do on the side? What's it going to mean in terms of using my time? Am I going to have to be in the office? All those sorts of things. So as an entrepreneur throughout my life, yes, I've had corporate roles, but I've also then always had something going on in the background because I wanted, I've done my stuff in the office. What now? Okay, let's see what I can get involved in. Let's have conversations. Let's get involved in online events or physical events, and just being able to build things and do that exploration. So that, that's for me as a person, that's what makes me tick. That's what I enjoy doing. So yeah, I have been on an interesting journey over the years. It has pretty much all been tech and video games.
Mm-hmm.
So working in the video games industry, but then also doing work supporting billion-dollar brands, designing and building platforms and mobile apps and e-commerce integrations, and working with airlines and fashion brands and streaming platforms like Netflix and all of that. It's like, okay, all of that experience, I've got to a point where it's now, how can I help people? And there's a reason, I guess, a shift in perspective and priorities based on a sports injury that I had, which we can touch on in a bit. But it's now a case of, okay, trying to take all of that tech experience, not doing it for big corporates anymore, but helping a different group of people. So I'm focusing on, you mentioned it, the female coaches, supporting them with sales funnels and email automations and how they can nurture clients and the email marketing and all those sorts of things. Because I don't know about anybody else listening, but I hate social media. I am sick and tired of being screwed over by the algorithms. I play the game because I know I have to, but I'm also building those systems in the background to be able to nurture people and convert them into clients without being as reliant on the social media algorithm. So, having those systems in place and using the experience from working with those big corporates, now supporting the female coaches in that area.
I love that. I personally never met somebody who did the corporate side of it and now helping coaches, female entrepreneurs for those technical issues, because it is a headache. And I am with you on the social media part, even though I am on it, even though I am consulting my clients in a branding side, not the tech side, because I struggle in tech side as well. So we need to have a different conversation after this. And that's really great how you merge your experiences and the life purpose you have, the freedom. It's blowing my mind that you already and always had something going on the background, because what happens in general life, usually people go to their job and come home, watch Netflix, eat junk food, sleep, and wake up and do the same thing over and over. And in the weekends, this is similar thing. So majority of people, they are sick of their jobs, but they're not doing anything on the side. And that's maybe another part of your story as an inspiration for people who are listening us, if they are somebody like that. I don't think they are, because my audience are mostly ambitious and they want to learn. And that's just amazing. Can you talk to me about your journey, your maybe the time that really shaped you? I know you've been an entrepreneur since 16, but what was the life event that really pushed you through to be who you are today?
2020 is a period that most of us know for reasons of COVID. For me, it was actually January 2020 where things started to change, because I was playing rugby here in Dubai. So if you're not familiar with rugby, physical contact sport, no padding, no helmets. So, very different from American football. I made a tackle on an opponent and I broke my neck. And I didn't know it was broken for 7 weeks.
Wow. How is that possible? Is it even possible? Like, you don't feel that? Did you feel anything? Of course, right?
I felt something, but I felt like I'd just done a really hard gym session. So all my neck muscles and my shoulder muscles went into spasm. So if you've ever done a hard gym session and sort of, 1 day and 2 days after, you get all that stiffness and things. And it's like, oh, well, that's what it feels like. Okay, I've been in a collision. So maybe, yes, my muscles and things have gone into spasm. The club that I was playing for, they had a physio that we could go and see. So every week for 7 weeks, I went to go and see the physio, and they would try and manipulate and loosen off and, get their thumbs stuck in, as physios tend to do. And some of them take some pleasure in making their clients feel pain. So it was like, okay, going through that process. And 7 weeks later, the physio said to me, he was like, Phil, it's not doing anything here. There's been no change. Maybe you should go and get some scans. So I went to the hospital, x-rays, MRI, all those sorts of things. And the consultant sat me down and he was like, C5, C6, it's broken. We want to do about 6 hours worth of surgery. We want to go in through the front and put plate and screws and then in through the back and make sure it's all in place. And I was just like, no, I can't cope with that. Yes. So for 7 weeks, I didn't know it was broken. And then when I knew it was broken, and was told by the consultant what he wanted to do, I said no and walked out.
So you didn't
I didn't have the surgery. I couldn't afford it. And the hospitals were starting to be locked down because of COVID, because this was now into the March time because I'd left it so long. So I was like, am I going to get the service that I need because everybody else is focusing elsewhere? I can't afford it really. So even if I could get the money, it's going to be a challenge. So I said, thanks very much. I'll see what happens. So I walked out, put faith in my body because it's been able to heal other broken bones that I've had from playing rugby. So I actually spent my 21st birthday on crutches because I broke my ankle playing rugby at university, but that healed without surgery, even though the
Wow.
surgery was suggested. So I already knew that my body was pretty strong in terms of its ability to heal. So I was like, you know what? Let's just see what happens. So that then leading into COVID, I lost 50% of my business because I couldn't do any of the events. The clients that I had, because there were marketing campaigns and things like that, was like, we just need to pause our budget for now because we don't know what's going to happen. And you may have had a similar sort of thing. So I was like, okay, that double hit of injury that I need to try and manage and hope it heals, and struggling to keep my business going. So 2020 for me was, yeah, a challenging period. But that got me to a point in 2021 where I then started personal development. I clicked a video, clicked an advert on a video on YouTube that took me to a course. I was like, I've got nothing to lose. Let's go for it. Let's buy this course and see what happens. And then one of the first questions in that course that I was asked was, what impact and contribution have you made to the world? And so I sat there again and I was like, yeah, that's a really difficult question to answer because I've been working for governments. I've been doing, tech projects for big corporates and things like that. It's like, well, that's helped them, but there's no real impact there. There's no real contribution to a bigger cause. Okay, so how can I use all of my experience to help others? And so I started down a path of thinking, what experience have I got? What skills have I got that I can use to help others? And so the period 21 was sort of that exploration for me of personal development. How do I want to rebuild myself? What do I want to do in terms of focus? How do I want to go about helping other people? So I started to rebuild my business, change the focus of it, change how we approach supporting clients, who are the type of clients, all that sort of stuff. And so that period from the personal development in 21 to where we are now, again, there's been a couple of ups and downs and a couple of twists and turns and changes, which happy to go into if you want. But yeah, I guess there's a key point there that I've experienced is that the journey is never a straight line. There will always be twists and turns and things that happen that may throw us off course, or they take us in a completely different direction that we we never expected, but actually it turns out as a positive.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I am very much familiar with the COVID things and pausings you mentioned. I'm curious though, so you didn't have a surgery at all
Nope.
and it healed itself.
It's healed. So my body has grown bone around the break. So this is something I talk about in my book. I've put some images there of the second set of scans that I got. So 18 months later, I went to see a different consultant and he was like, it's a miracle. You've grown bone, you've got full range of movement, you've got strength as if nothing happens. The only downside is that my vertebrae, one of the vertebrae in my neck is slightly twisted, so it impinges the nerve. So every now and again, I get sharp shooting pains. But apart from that, it's fine. And so
Wow.
I've been able to carry on and be like, right, I take that as a blessing because if it had been any worse, I could have actually been laid on that pitch dead. We could have severed everything, broken neck, spine, all that. Okay, that could have been it. Going to my video game background, that could have been game over. So it's like, okay, now I need to think about what I do differently moving forward.
Wow, that is truly a miracle, and showing that our body is really a miracle. Like it finds the way to support you. And my father has a similar story in the heart ways. All those like I don't know the name, like it's very technical, but he lost a couple of his important parts of the heart because of stress, and the body built extra ones,
Wow.
and that's how he survived without having a heart attack. So that was very interesting to me when I heard it. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Like, but of course, it's like the commercials. Don't try this at home. People who are listening to us or watching us, don't do it. Like, if you have a problem, go to go have your surgery. But it's miracles are real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, You already started mentioning about your book. I want to get into your book a little bit, and then how you help female entrepreneurs, because that's like, I'm the most curious about it. So what are you talking about in your book? What is it
So,
called?
so there's actually two books, and I mentioned this journey that we go on, and sometimes we veer off and take different paths, or there's the twists and turns. So the first book is called Watch Us Play. And so the first thing after this personal development, I guess the start of the personal development journey, I'm still on it. It will be now a lifelong thing. Thinking about the skills and the experience that I had. So working in the video games industry, my partner is a teacher. She needed a maths lesson for her students. And so we had a conversation over dinner, and she was like, oh, I need to think about the plan. I need to create the resources. What am I going to do with my students tomorrow? And so I said to her, why not just do something based on a video game that they love? And she was like, sorry, do what? 30 minutes later, we talked it through, and she was like, okay, yeah, that could work. So maths, it was about area and perimeter. We knew that her students liked a particular video game. So like, okay, there are levels in that. Maybe we can get them to design levels. We can think about area and perimeter of the different rooms that they put into their level in the video game. So we created that. Next day, I got a message. They love it. They're hooked. Everybody's on task. There's no aggravation. There's nobody just walking around. And so I was like, okay, maybe that's a way that I can use my skills and experience to help parents, to help teachers. So that's the path that I started down. And I started creating maths resources based on different video games. So for the ages of 5 to 12, some of the foundational maths, created that library, started, having conversations with parents, and they were like, this is great. Kids love it. They're doing extra maths work because it's related to the game. The challenge that I've got as a parent is the screen time. So I was like, okay. So I can't really help you with the maths as much as I'd like to, because you've got a challenge with screen time. Okay. So I then went and interviewed parents, child psychologists, and industry experts to find their strategies for managing screen time effectively without all the arguments. And I put that into the first half of the book. So that first book, Watch Us Play, is about managing screen time and online safety and using video games to improve maths. So that's what I did for sort of the period of 2022 into 23. And I then started doing workshops in schools and talking to parents and doing online trainings. And I did a 4-day challenge for parents. And then during that 4-day challenge, I created a slide of 12 things that are impacting parents' ability to manage their kids' screen time that parents don't realize. Like sometimes a parent's relationship with technology, how often they use their phone, where they use their phone as an example, directly impacts the child, because the child sees that and says, oh, but you scroll all the time. So why is that not okay for me to do? So I looked at this slide of these 12 things and then was like, that's not just about screen time. That's actually about life. And I saw it. And, you sometimes get those moments and you're like, there's a bigger thing here. There's a different mission that is in front of me. There's a different path. And so that became then the 12 chains that hold us back in life, which is the topic for the second book. So the second book is called Finally Find Freedom. And it talks about setting that vision for our life, what it is that we want to do, how we want to use our time, where we want to live, the experiences that we want to have. And there's an exercise in the book for exactly that. And it's about uncovering life's 12 chains that hold us back and the steps that we can take to break free of them. And that's where I introduce the concept of being a freedom hunter. What is it that we want? How do we want to live? How can we achieve that by breaking free of these 12 chains?
I love it. Both of them, especially the first one. It is very smelling tech, because you divide it into two, like you did the research, like it's a very techy and very, very beneficial, because I know from my cousin, I don't have a child yet, but she struggles with the screen time and how, get her to do the maths or any other homework. So it's very interesting time right now, because you can't really just take it away from them, because everybody has it. It's just so easy for so many things, and parents especially, they need their time, so just they give, they just walk away. So it's very, very, very important topic. And what is it called again, that book, the first book?
Watch Us Play.
Watch us play. Yes. If you're listening to us, if you're a parent, go check out Philip's book. And then if you are the person who looks for freedom, finds a way to live their life in a better way, free way, because at the end of the day, we all want freedom. If you go chunk it down in our coaching sessions, I always do, like when we go chunk it down, all the things that they want, the final thing we get is freedom most of the case. It's not the house you want to buy, it's not the car, it's not about the job, it is the freedom, it is the feeling. So if you're a freedom hunter like Philip, like me, go check his book, Finally Find Freedom, correct?
Yep.
Go check his book and get it. Is it on Amazon, I assume?
It is, yeah. So it's easy to spot because it's got a nice bright orange cover.
Yes, perfect. I love it.
So yes, it is available on Amazon.
Perfect. Finally, Philip, help us. I am your client, female entrepreneur coach, and I struggle with tech. Please help me. How you help people?
So the biggest thing, it starts with a mindset shift, and you'll probably do the same sort of thing in your coaching. And the biggest mindset shift is a recognition that we need to think about the 97%. And the 97% are those people who are not ready to buy right now. So we may be posting on social, we may have, free guides and lead magnets and be doing online webinars and things like that, but there'll only be 3% of people who are ready to buy right now. So those other 97%, we need to think about what we're going to do with them. Do we just have them on an email list and never talk to them again? Or do we put systems and processes in place to educate them, to nurture them, to help them understand who we are and build that know, like, and trust, and then invite them to new things in the future, or to book a call or buy a product or buy a course? So it's about saying, you're already doing stuff. That's great. How can we put some of these systems in place so in the background, you've got the things that will nurture those people, that will build the relationships with them until they are ready to say yes. So that, that's the high level. We go into, specific details. For example, there's 6 different types of emails that you'll send. Some of them will be that invitation. Some of them will just be a welcome saying, hey, thanks for joining my world. This is what I'm all about. Some of them will be reminders of, you signed up for this, or I've got this coming up. Do you want to get involved? So, we think about what makes sense for them, their business, their offering, how they want to interact with the people in their ecosystem. And then we design and build those systems and processes in the background, because freedom is still the key thing. It's like, how can we build the things that free up your time? How can we build the things that are going to help you get more clients and therefore more revenue, which gives you a different type of freedom? How can we build the systems and the processes that mean you don't have to be glued to your computer all the time, and therefore you can be anywhere? So you get location freedom. So that is the core essence, is to say, how can we use tech more effectively, put the things in place so that you can save time, earn more, and ultimately have more impact, because you're then focusing on supporting the clients.
That is absolutely very true. Because like you said, 97, I didn't know the percentage, but yes, the majority of your mail list or people who are following you are not ready to buy. And that's why you need to show up all the time. You need to share your story. That's what I tell my clients all the time. You need to show who you are so that people can trust you, people can know the authentic self you have, and then you can, invite them to something. But some people straight to the sales topic, and which I really hate it. Like on LinkedIn or any other platform, they just straightly like send the connection invite and send like, okay, do you want to buy this, or let's jump on a call. I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, you don't know the process. You need to build a relationship first. Like, how these people have the courage, or are they successful to do that? I have no idea, but there are so many people do that. So how you're helping in that process. If you can share a little bit of the process tip for our audience, that would be great.
Yeah, so there's 3 stages we go through, really. And it's stage or phase 1, let's build the stuff, design the stuff that makes sense. Stage 2 is test and sort of bring people to us. Again, are we doing a bundle? Are we doing an online webinar? How are we getting people into the top of the funnel? If we wanted the technical speak here of trying to move people down that funnel and through the sales process. And then it's the test and optimize to say, okay, how can we improve the conversion rate? So there's a 3-stage process that we go through. But one of the other core things is the 4 Ds. Okay. So if we think those 3 stages, that's great. We can, okay, I can sort of visualize that. We need to obviously move people through. The 4 Ds are about where the tech makes the most sense. And this is where we can get away from those, instant DMs, book a call type thing, because the 4 Ds, it's the 4 stages of a client journey, really. And it's discovery, destination, dialogue, and delivery. Okay. So how are people discovering us? What are we doing? Are we posting on social? Are we doing paid advertising? What's the destination that we're sending them to? Is it somewhere to register, join the email list, get a free guide? What's the dialogue that we're then building in the background so that we can do that nurture rather than send a DM straight away that says book a call? Because again, people we know get annoyed at that. So it's like, right, we want to move away from that world. How can we build the things in the background? And then the final, what's that delivery mechanism for you? Are you doing one-to-one coaching? Are you just making a course available? Let's think about that for you and your business. And then we can start to design the systems and the processes that make the most sense, keeping in mind that, okay, these 4 stages, these 4 Ds are how we're taking people through that journey.
That's awesome. Philip, I enjoyed every single moment, every single word and letter you shared. And I want to ask you lastly, if people are ready to work with you, how people can reach out to you?
Best way is to go to my website. There's some free resources on there. There are opportunities to have a conversation with me and things like that, learn more about my background, what it is that I've done, what it is that I'm doing, how I am, trying to be a freedom hunter, and the Freedom Hunters Club that I have, which is the community that I'm building. So yes, the website is the best place. That's just my name. So philipwride.com.
Perfect. What would be the last sentence you want to share with our audience?
I'm going to give you 2. Okay. And they're quotes from the book. Okay. So the first one is, happiness is a state of mind. Freedom is a way of living. Okay. So that's the first one. The second one is a sort of a phrase based on the word freedom. So I took each letter of the word freedom, put a word next to it, and created a phrase. And so that phrase is, focused repetition enables experiences, desires, opportunities, and money. We need the focused repetition to make the progress, to build the life that we want, to build the business that we want, and then everything else will come from that.
Exactly. I love it. I have the same acronym with the letters for authenticity. So I love those words. I love playing with them. Thank you so much, Philip. I enjoyed a lot. Thank you for being who you are and sharing your story and helping people all around the world. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good day. Thank you
too.
everyone.
Enjoy
Bye.
your coffee.
I will. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and now you can apply it to your life. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the Coffee O'Clock podcast on Apple and leave us a review. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you feel like someone needs to listen to this episode, share it on your social media or text the link to that person to make an impact in their life. Be sure to tune in every Monday for new episodes. You can also watch the episodes and find more inspiration on my Instagram, which is at JOYYBURCU. Until next time, make sure to spend some time with you and stay with joy.